We'll go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. I'm Zach Myers with the Center for Dairy Excellence. Thank you for taking the time to join our Protecting Your Profits webinar today. If you have any questions, please type them in the chat box by clicking on the chat box at the bottom of your screen and type your question, and I will try to monitor that and answer your questions as I'm able to. My goal today is to provide an overview of current dairy markets and to review risk management opportunities. This is all public information, and while I may express some opinions, these are not recommendations. So similar agenda here, we'll talk about the current markets and exports and imports, dairy margin coverage, dairy revenue protection, and I do have a little bit of an update on the pandemic market volatility assistance program based on information we learned on our dairy industry conference call last week. So moving into milk production and cow numbers, at over nearly 19 billion pounds, nearly 19 billion pounds, U.S. milk production was up a slight 1.1% year over year. After being up 2.1% in July, hot weather and high feed costs continue to slow the growth rate, with August production the lowest year-over-year growth rate so far this year. U.S. cow numbers are up 9.48 million head compared to last August, 9.37. However, for the third month in a row, there was a month-over-month reduction. August cow numbers fell 19,000 head compared to July's revised 9.499 million, and is 29,000 head less than the multi-decade high of 9.509 in May. Increased cow numbers were solely responsible for the slight jump in milk production, with production per cow, for the slight jump in milk production, the production per cow was the same this August compared to last August at 73.7 pounds per cow. Pennsylvania cow numbers continue to decline year over year. The cow numbers are down 7,000 from last year. Milk output per cow increased 1.5% to 65.6 pounds per day, or nearly 1 pound more than last August, and was enough to keep total milk production across the state even. Pennsylvania milk production this August and last August were both 841 million pounds. Since our PYP call this month is a few days earlier than normal, some of the USDA reports aren't yet available, so the butter and cheese, the cold storage report, won't be released until this afternoon. However, update from last month, July non-fat dry milk powder is up about 2.7%. Those powder stocks were up about 8.5 million pounds to 322 million. At $1.70 per pound, August butter price is 23 cents higher than last year and continues to be discount compared to international prices, with the global dairy trade at $2.63 and the EU price at $2.10. Cheese price is down a considerable 61 cents compared to last year, and there's also a discount compared to the global dairy trade at $1.90 and virtually the same as the European Union at $1.73. And for non-fat dry milk at $1.27 cents per pound, it's 29 cents more than last year, and is slightly lower than the global dairy trade price at $1.38, but 13 cents higher than the European Union price of $1.14. July butter production was down 1.3 million pounds compared to last July to 152 million pounds. July cheese production was up 38.8 million pounds to 1.15 billion pounds. And then July powder production was down 8.8 million pounds compared to last year to 157 million pounds total. Now, moving on to product disappearance, with July being the most up-to-date information available. Butter disappearance was up 4% in July to 177 million pounds. due to increased domestic use and exports as well. At 458 million pounds, American cheese disappearance was basically flat, down less than 1%, with 5.9 million more pounds of exports totaling 17.4 million, but domestic use was down 9.3 million pounds to 440 million pounds. Other style cheeses are up slightly to 705 million pounds. This is almost 2% more than last year. This was driven by slight increases in both domestic use and exports. Milk powder disappearance was up considerably, 21% to 237 million pounds compared to last July. And this was driven mainly by a 2.5-fold increase in domestic use that was able to overcome a slight reduction in exports. Class 3 milk futures for the next 12 months are up a little compared to this time last month. Based on September 21st closing prices, the Class 3 futures price averaged $17.49, 20 cents more than last month. September Class 3 was the low at $16.60, and then jumps to $17.42 in October, before dropping slightly in November, then climbing steadily to the 1780s by the end of next summer. The current Class 3 12-month average price is 95 cents more than the 5-year average of $16.50 per hundredweight. Class 4 is also showing signs of growth behind increased domestic use and expected increased export demand in a lot of the powders. Class 4 price for September is currently the lowest price for the next 12 months at $16.72. It jumps to $17.47 in October and trends up to the 1750s by the 1780s, excuse me, by next summer. The Class 4 12-month average increased to $17.19, 80 cents more than last month, and 4 cents more than this time last month, and it's $2.38 more than the 5-year average price of $14.81. Moving on to exports, July is still on track to set a volume record in 2021 if everything continues to grow like it has the previous 7 months of the year. Over 195,000 metric tons of milk solids equivalent were exported in July. This is up 7% from last July, and it's estimated to be valued at about $668 million, which is 21% more than last July. Now moving on to risk management. Dairy margin coverage. The July margin was announced at 568 a hundredweight. This equates to a $3.82 per hundredweight indemnity at the 950 coverage, and is roughly $3,000 per 1 million pounds of production history enrolled. Annually, that's about $16 and about $16,500 per 1 million pounds, up to that 5 million pound cap. And that provides so far through July a net benefit of $1.49 a hundredweight. August margin will be announced next Thursday, September 30th, after 3 o'clock, when the ag prices report is released. So the DMC tool that I use to get the updated information is currently going through some updates and is not available. So the numbers on the graph you see here are projections based on September 7th closing feed prices, which was the last time I was able to access the tool. So you see there, the feed price is staying high. It's supposed to drop a little bit and maybe get under $11 by the end of the year for the first time since March of this year. And that gives an average all milk price for the year of about $20.94. And if you I use a 5-year average of the difference between Class 3 and Class 4 to produce that Class 3 trigger price that you see there, that for the year average is $19.70. So that's just a reference for you to look at, compare to the futures market to see what class 3 is doing, and maybe the likelihood that DMC is going to how it's going to come out based on that futures price. So having said all that, if milk price, the U.S. all milk price is going to have to be over $20 to not set or not to trigger an indemnity. It looks like at least through the rest of the year, if current projections continue to become reality. So just I mentioned last month on our Protecting Your Profits webinar that a DMC Feed Change was coming. It's still not finalized, but since then I've had an opportunity to do a quick analysis of what this changing from the average price alfalfa hay price to the high quality alfalfa hay price alone, what that looks like. This program is supposed to be retroactive back to January 2020. So for 2020, that's an additional 20 cents on average for the 5 months affected by the change. And that it roughly equates to about $740 per 1 million pounds of production history enrolled in the DMC program up to that 5 million tier 1 cap. And for 2021, of course, this will affect all 7 months of that's been announced so far. So I see I've got a typo there. It should be January through July, not January through August, since we don't know August's margin yet. But it equates to 21 cents on average for the 7 months that we know so far this year, and that's an additional $1,100 per 1 million pounds of production history. And this increases the net benefit I mentioned on the previous slide of $1.49 to $1.61 per hundredweight. So basically, if you look at it this way, the change in the alfalfa hay price over the last 2 years pays for the program. So pretty good change that's made to benefit dairy farmers. So just the total dollar figures, the net benefit is about $17,600 for 1 million pounds of production history. Or if you scale that up to the 5 million cap, that's about $88,000. That means that the total net benefit from the DMC program has made so far this year. So moving on to dairy revenue protection. The DRP prices shown here are based on yesterday's closing prices. 100% class 3, 95% price protected floors can be set from a low of 1662 in the first quarter available, which is Q1 of 2022, to a high of 1695 in Q3 of next year. And this will cost an average of about 32 cents a hundredweight across all 4 quarters that are currently available. You can see that the first quarter of 2023, which is the 5th quarter out, and the furthest out that you can currently purchase policies, no policies were offered, and I suspect it's due to not enough trading that far out to establish base prices. And for dairy revenue, for the class 4, 95% price protected policies, they can be purchased to set price floors from a low of 1628 in the 4th quarter of 2022 up to 1660 in the 3rd quarter 22 for an average cost of about 37 cents. So more volatility currently right now in the class 4 price that's driving the average premium price up. And again, just like the class 3 policies, their class 4 policies out that 5th quarter, 1st quarter 2023 are not currently offered, and again, probably because of lack of trading. So just a couple of statistics on the U.S. and Pennsylvania. Currently in the 2022 crop production year, 6.4 billion pounds of milk are covered in the U.S. by 614 policies. In Pennsylvania, there's about 44 million pounds of milk covered by 16 policies. And since we're in the 1st quarter of the 2022 crop year. Of course, nothing has been indemnified yet for the 2022 crop year. Now, just a quick update on the market, the pandemic market volatility assistance program. This is the program that supplied $350 million to reimburse dairy farmers for losses due to abnormal market conditions in the last half of 2020. So as of I guess the end of August, 1st of September, all of the AMS did contact all eligible milk handlers, and just based on a short survey that Jane Seabright, our director, and I did among the milk handlers in Pennsylvania, all of the milk handlers we talked to indicated they're participating in the program on the behalf of its members or dairy customers. So that's good news. And the AMS goal is to have the money agreements in place with the milk handlers and have the money to the milk handlers by the end of November. And that gives the milk handlers time, hopefully, to have the money to farmers by the end of the year. So pay rates still are not announced, but of course will vary by milk handler based on their actual loss. So each milk handler has paid a different amount of money into the pool, so the rate to reimburse that loss will be different. And with that, the next Protecting Your Profits call will be next October the 27th at noon as normal. And I'm still working to confirm. I'm hoping to have a guest speaker that day to give us a market update. So that one will probably, if I'm able to confirm someone for that, that will be an hour session where I'll give my normal 15-20 minute update, and then the guest speaker will have the remainder of the time to talk about dairy markets through the end of the year and starting out next year, and what that looks like is my goal. So at this point, if there's any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer. And we'll just pause for a minute if nothing came in on the chat. So if there are any questions, again, thank you for joining me today. And I look forward to talking with you again next month. Have a great rest of your week.